Welcome to another video. My name is Daniel and this is the Wild and Survival channel. I'm actually making two videos. This is an requested behind the scenes video, and I'm actually going to mix the behind the scenes video with another how to become an outdoors YouTuber, because there is one very popular blogger and a very good person that has also been wondering, should I make some videos out in the wild? And I really like to read her stuff because she also posts a lot of psychology, and she is a very good photographer, very good, and has more followers than me. Now let me stop this dizziness because it's getting quite annoying. So my other video is going to be the actual video that I'm preparing for today. This video is going to be kind of a very normal video in what I'm supposed to do. I'm going to show you what I mean by making a cup of coffee. This is top-notch coffee. Now, you can see really a big difference between making a B-roll video apart from a normal video, just leaving the camera for one side, like I did with this camera. And it surely can be too much to use just one technique. So think to blend actually what I call the A-rolls or personality videos with some B-rolls can be a very good things. It doesn't have to be a sequence that long. You can also give some inserts, like perhaps just leaving the camera to film a flower that is moving in the wind. Perhaps you see a squirrel jumping on the trees. Perhaps you see you have a drone and you can get some aerial drones. So it's kind of the mix between the A-rolls and the B-roll that matters. Now I'm kind of really changing my footage and for the most experimenting with filming and video making every time. For B-roll though, it's important to have a very good light, as well as when you are talking like this, that you have a very good light. I could turn it off and you can see the difference. This is the difference without the light. And I have actually using two lights. There is one on the back. It's a little bit too much actually to be working with this kind of light. but this is normally what I trying to use at home as well. And it has a soft, it's like a tent, and those are LED light that reflects a lot of heat, and it's currently on about 40%, I believe now. Here in Norway, light is a really big problem. Talking about now in winter time, you get start like 5 o'clock. Important that I have a very good light outdoors. Now you cannot bring that big thing with you. There are certainly lights that you can bring with you that is that big, but it's, if you are an outdoors YouTuber, it's going to be way too much to be carrying most of the camera things and a big light and all the outdoor things. It's called a Rory light. This is a very cheap light actually. What is good with it, you can use normal, it has 2 panels for controlling more of the light, what kind of light you want. It has a switch on the side. You can change, it's a magnet. Probably if there are some other colors I will get that as well. And it goes, you have a very simple switch, and you can recharge it USB, very important. And you have you can put normal batteries, and you have 2 of those batteries that I have here. So it's very important for me to have very good light. This LED lenser, now this is a little bit old now, but it's waterproof, and you can actually use it a lot. It's not as bright as the Rory light. You only have I believe it's 1000. I believe the other one is a little bit farther, so you can like kind of use, this is also weatherproof, so you can, and it's a diving light. You can have actually down to 30 meters. Doesn't help much, but it's better than nothing. What is good about this lamp, you can also recharge it via USB, but you can actually use, those are 2 GoPro, the regular GoPro battery, the GoPro 3 Plus, I believe. I don't know about the 4, because on the GoPro 7 is another kind of battery. It's a shame, but those batteries aren't good. You can actually recharge the batteries for the GoPro as well in here. So you actually have 3 or 2 batteries, for the 3 for the GoPro, and you can recharge it and use it for as light, so it's like 2 in 1. And then also always bring with me a headlamp. Now it may be a little bit too much to bring like 3 different lights, but that's the things, like when you are filming, when you are doing movies, you actually need to make it properly, or it's going to be a dark movie, especially on winter time. A headlamp is also good when you are working, and you don't miss a lot of the things you are carrying with you. So that's very important. Light is very important, as also as well the white balance for the camera. In the new camera, this one, I'd use the Cinema V mode in that camera. Now it is on natural, but I surely have used the vivid mode quite a lot. I stopped using the vivid because it's kind of yellowish sometimes. This light also gives you a very yellow warm color, and you need really to be aware of the color of your footage. I turn out the GoPro color flat. I have been having a really difficult time to get used to the GoPro 7 footage. This is a vlog case. I'm going to show you another time, but my settings here is set to 29 frames per second now, and I turn away the NSTD to PAL, because the flickering light, the last video that I posted were really flickering, and I found out you have to turn that to PAL instead, because they have trouble with the LED lamps, those camera, and it will flicker, and it's a little bit difficult to do with the Lumix camera. So what I'm trying really to say is you need to be really consequent on your camera settings when you're using a GoPro, when you're using your regular hybrid camera or a drone. Normally it's better to use to use manual instead of automatic, but sometimes automatic will be a better thing. When you are outdoors, it's going to be more difficult to actually control all those settings, mostly because you go around and changing camera positions every time, and surely you forget about something. Could be the objective, could be the focus, could be the light, could be the battery, could be the memory card. There are many things that could actually ruin your photo. So, but you cannot be a control freak either. You just need to record, and okay, that came that way. My last video with the flickering of the LED lamp, because I've used LED lamp up here and here as well now, it came up really flickering, and the lighting was really bad. I also got really problems with the GoPro camera because I'm using that as my webcam. So it's a lot of things that could go wrong, but anyway, the most important thing, like I said, is to actually make a movie. Okay, so surely the lightning is a very big deal, as well as the batteries. As you notice, I was making the video, because I'm filming with 4K, it drains the battery longer. Now the Lumix camera usually is a very good, it's a big camera, and it have very big batteries. But as soon as you change from 1080p to 4K, it will drain the battery much faster. Because it's a more complicated camera. What you can do is you can get a hand grip that it costs a little bit more to get more battery life on your camera. What you can also do, Lumix camera is also weather and shock resistance, so it's a very good camera. What you can do is get one of these boxes. This is ordered from China, very cheap, because one of the batteries costs almost $100 on its own. But if you get one of those two plus those from China, you can get it more cheaper. And it's really important that you can also charge it from USB, because then you can also use a power bank to charge it from, to charge it from the outdoors. And this is what I normally used on the expedition as well. The problem is you should always need also another power source, and then I have the little solar power that's going to take a long time to charge that power bank. Now batteries like this is much smaller, and it drains a lot faster in the cold, so you can always put it in the warmth, in close to your body, to keep it warm. So normally you can do a very good video from a mobile phone. but not this one, the Cat 41. This has a very bad camera. The mobile phone's camera drains also very fast. It is very slippery and could get very quickly broken, your mobile phone, if you use it for outdoors filming. So it should be a backup plan, but if you have a good camera, especially if you are here in Norway, you should actually use a camera instead of a mobile phone. I choose actually to get a outdoors phone this time that is solid, because I don't want it broken. You can get your screen broken very quickly. And I got this one and my wife S9 at the same time, and she has already dropped it to the floor and break the screen, and that's a very shame. So hopefully this can last me for a longer time than hers. This has also a longer battery, but I really just use my phone to perhaps watch some YouTube videos and take the calls, of course, checks on Facebook, and most importantly, I actually use it with the camera as well as a remote control. But I mostly use the phone for GPS, and it's a very good. You had Norgeskart. It's a very good GPS and very precise as well. So use that for another thing that filming most of the time. Let's talk a little about objectives, guys. The thing about Lumix camera is that or Micro Four Thirds is that the objectives are smaller, but that's also give you less battery use. You can look at my hand. This is 100 to 300 telezoom lens. If you have a full frame camera, this will be a really huge objective, and it will take a lot of space. This is a macro lens. This is from 7 Art and Sound. This is quite heavy, but it's in metal, a little bit more weather resistant than perhaps that one. This is my most used lens. I have showed them before, and I recently used it for that coffee shot, those two. 25 milliliters Lumix lens. This is a very good cinematic lens all around, with a filter, a Go variable ND filter. I'm going to show you what I mean about that. This is a super wide fish eye lens. That is mostly for very wide shots of something, or perhaps filming indoor inside a tent or a hammock. This is mostly for photography, and this is a 3D lens I don't really use, and I try to sell it, but I cannot get to sell it actually. Okay, so as you can see, I have changed to the fisheye lens. This gives me like a very GoPro-ish lens that you can see everything. This is the one I also mostly use. This is a pancake lens. That is that it compresses small. I cannot turn it off when it was open. That's my bad. But this is also stabilized lens. It's not a very good lens, but it can give me a flexibility from 14 to 42. Now, this lens is a good all-around lens, but it will give me crystal sharp and very good footage. So this is a very good A lens. I tend to sometimes film B-roll with it, but I try to avoid it at any time. You can get a variety of lenses if you have a normal lens. I would really recommend something like this for all around 14 to 42, and then 25 like I have here. Well, I have the Leica one. There is the other one. There is the pancake that I have actually. And I would also recommend a telezoom, and perhaps also a macro lens. If you get it original, it's going to cost you a little bit more, so it's probably a good idea to go for the cheaper lens, like the wide-eye lens that I have here, and perhaps a 7 artisan macro lens. It's going to cost you about half of a normal lens. This one is used, this one I bought new, and this one as well, so you can get the old versions of a lens. If you have a micro Four 4 hybrid camera like I have, this is actually very good for night photography, because one of the big downsides with cameras like I have is that it's very bad on low light, and you should try to avoid to use as much ISO as possible. So a lens that it can give you a lot of light. This is 2.8, you have down to 1.4, but that is also wide. It will be a very good for night photography or night time lapses. A GoPro actually is a very way better to use in night photography than all the newer ones than a full frame, micro Four 4 camera with a regular lens. So if you want to make time lapse, use the GoPro. Now we're going to go into filters a little bit, and caps. What I mean about caps is those things that you put on the lens just to avoid. This is really easy to lose. I surely have lost a lot of them, and it costs like $10 to buy. So throw it. What I find that helped me is two things. Here is not this one. This is for if it gets too much sun or light. This thing here is a cover lens that is called UV lens. It's a regular filter that will help you against weather and against UV light, but mostly against weather and scratching the lens is mostly why I keep a filter on the lens. Those things are also very good to have when you are outdoors. When you are outdoors, it's easily to just take it off and put it inside, and then you kind of find it, so you need to really be careful and routinated with that to avoid getting shit on your lens, because it's going to cost you. And I have ruined one lens already. But what I really find nice is those silicone lenses to put on top. Now you can put one of them on the top, and you can get one of them on the back, and this is also weather resistant, and you can use it to mostly every kind of lens. It's a little bit more difficult to miss. So if you have a normal hybrid camera, surely you're going to go inside your camera. Most of the Sony compact cameras have that, so you don't need to hassle with this kind of thing. But if you have a full frame camera, I would really recommend this kind of cover. I cannot remember what it's called because I bought them for a long time now. Okay, so going on to filters, like I said, this is a ND variable, ND filter. This is like a sunglass for your objective. But what is good is actually that let me change to that lens so I can. Yeah, now you can see the pancake is retrieving with the cover in behind. But you can see this is a 25 millimeters, and with the filter on it's get a little bit darker. But this I now have it on 1.4, so it's actually receiving a lot of light, but it's also darkening the edges. So you can turn the filter around and you can bring it to more darker and more lighter. So you can just adjust very quickly your footage, and it surely looks a lot more cinematic with the filter on, especially outside. But the thing is, with this kind of lens, that you actually, it doesn't work that good to be doing some role or personality things like I'm doing now, because it stretches more, it's not so wide lens. But it's a very good lens though, it's more sharper, better quality. Sorry, but the thing is that if you are alone in the woods and you are using a tripod, then it's not good to be talking to this kind of lens every time. It's going to make your footage way more difficult, because you only have 25 millimeters. And I surely had that lens for a long time and make things really difficult, especially when I was inside a tent, because I needed some space to have the focal length, right focal length. So so it's better to actually use this length. It's way better to use this, because you can also just take it from the front and have the same things, and it's more easier. But you also need to remember the quality from this kind of lens is bad. So kind of pros and cons on everything here, you know. Okay, about lens, the same thing goes for GoPro and drones, and it's more things to bring, more hassle. But if you actually take your time to do it right, you can get a very good footage. These are the Polar Pro cinematic filters. Should have a variable ND filter here as well, but I don't have it, so I kind of don't use it too much, those filters for the drone. For the camera as well, you have different kind of filters. Like I have here is the this is a polarizer to get a very good photograph. It's most for photos actually, where you get a very crispy, sunny, bright color footage. So when you are actually making the video, remember to take some good photos as well, and probably change to a filter to get a very good photos. I'm not a very good photographer, because I'm way different thing than making videos. So you can get like your very good photos for your Instagram or for a thumbnail. That is very important for making videos, especially in YouTube. A very good thumbnail photos with bright colors and the right settings, etc. Yeah, surely you need a red filter if you are going to dive. It's really important to have that, because the colors get bad when you are diving, and you need that red to fill it up. And yes, it's important to don't buy the bad filters. Buy something in the middle. I use for the most Gove and Polar Pro filters. Gove is a very good company that produces very good filters for your camera, and you can have a package, and this is kind of a filter that is in the middle from the very good filters and the very bad filters. So get Gove if I'm going to tip you from good filters. I recently talked about power banks. I have very bad experience with the Power Traveler after the expedition, and also this big one, so I usually use the smaller from Trust instead. Also very good to have some kind of order on your memory cards. A pouch, and I am about to actually mark those memory cards because I'm using several memory cards, and I don't know what's first. Now I really don't like the smaller memory cards here. This is a brand new memory card. This is 128 gigabytes, but it doesn't work anymore. And those bigger ones that adapts to that one, also that locking system gets really used quickly, so you rather should use this if you can, or the bigger ones. You see, those smaller ones are actually broken, and I have tried to be very careful with it, but they actually got broke. Yeah. Like you see. So a protective pouch in case of it, if it go down to the ground, is a good thing to have. Sometimes I bring the big bag here. This is a photo bag that I normally use if I'm about to head for a longer trips, because I can have a lot of things here. This I can also take my laptop inside, and you know, it's a photography bag, and you can also have a tripod on the side and a rain cover, and you name it. You can also have some extra things like your car charger for the drone batteries, and etc, etc. But it's a little bit hassle to have as well. So I normally also use this bag to keep, perhaps bring a couple of objectives, a camera, the lights, some batteries on the side, the memory cards, and perhaps a drone as well. You have also a very good drone bag here, if you're going to use the drone a lot. There are a lot of bad tripods out there. I have, let's see, those are for the 360 camera. I can also use it with the GoPro. This is one is very cool because it's very long. It's like 5 meters long or so. So if you can use a drone, you can actually use this thing to actually get some aerial shots from a 360 camera or a GoPro, to fake if you cannot use a drone. In Norway you can use drone in national parks, so you can spare the drone at home, and you can actually bring this one, perhaps a 360 camera as well, if you want to make some good aerial shots. Or fake it. Those are very lightweight, very small, very bad. I actually borrowing this lights. It's not meant for outdoors. The one I'm using on the camera is like the big brother of the smaller one, and it's better. Those two are actually not my tripods. I have borrowed them. If you want to do a lot of diving, you can actually find Selfie Sticks that is for salt water. I have filmed a lot underwater photography and videography, and I have broken 2 of those mini tripods here because they are not meant to be in salt water, though you can wash them after after you have used them. So this one is mostly for the 360 camera and the GoPro when you are diving in salt water. Okay, I'm going to just show you, because I have written some strategy on this video term before. Yeah, you can see the flickering there because of the light, the bad lighting, or setting from the camera. We kind of ruined the whole video, that flickering there. So you really need to sit down and study your camera. Now, if I got here, I have like a presentation that I used before for making a video. And if you go to B-rolls and techniques, here are some techniques that you can use for your V-rolls that I normally use a lot when I have the time for it. Slow motion or fast motion is number 1. Point of view is more of a GoPro view, and try to capture the speed of your movement when you are using a GoPro. That is very difficult. Still inserts is what I have talked about last time. That is just leave your camera for a place with a tripod, filming perhaps a flower that winds and etc. Close-ups, like I done a lot in the coffee example with a macro lens. You can also use macro to film like, let me see, very small insects to give a very close, and then perhaps you can switch out to the drone to keep it different. Wide angle is mostly for close-ups or time lapses. Rack focus is more of a movement that I also use on the coffee example. Last 2 things I'm going to mention is normally now the house is looking like a mess, so I need to be hurrying up now. I normally pack all the things I'm going to use, and not necessarily need to bring all of things, because you are going to get exhausted if you bring a lot. So just pack exactly what you need. You need to make a plan before you leave at home. It's important that you have a story. For this case, my next video is going to be about showing the Nortent Lavo and the game here. There is a dome from Nortent, and I'm going to eat some lunch, and I'm going to show how good space there is in those hot tents. So I need to bring the outdoors equipment and bring it in front of me so I don't forget nothing. Because if I do, I'm going to ruin my day. I need to walk backwards. It has happened a lot of times. The last time I forgot my mobile, actually. So bring your outdoors and make sure you have everything. And also your camera gear need to be recharged, and you need to be memory cards that are in full and everything. It's a lot of work, but as soon as you get doing that a lot, then you are good routine. This is a job, you guys, and it's a very fun job, but it's going to take some time. And you will surely notice that when you begin and you gain a lot of years doing this. Trying to get through it all, guys, and I'm getting really tired. Okay, so this is my old laptop. The last one of the most important things is to edit. Editing may be as important as the story, or perhaps going out and just making a video, you know. I have here, obviously, come on, there. I have here my old PC, and it's a old PC now because I have used it a lot, and I have used it for many years. It is a gaming PC. Yes, I do game a lot. I'm a nerd as well. Gaming PCs are perhaps not as good as Macintosh to maybe doing some photography job. It doesn't have a very good screen for that either. That is not a very good screen for doing photos specifically, but it has a lot of horsepower to actually make a video. Now this PC here is kind of failing. The screen is kind of failing me. Most of the reason I changed it to a stationary PC is because of this getting old, and it has a lot of problem when I try to edit some 4K and 360 6K videos. This is not as good anymore. My wife PC can surely handling editing at all, but she doesn't edit and do video stuff anyway, so you don't need, but you need a PC that can handle a lot of editing and mostly RAM. This PC here has about 36 RAMs and very powerful graphic cards, but actually it's a very slow PC anyway to be editing 4K videos. It takes a lot of time, especially if you have a 50 minutes long video. There are several kind of softwares that are normally used. I try most of them, like Final Cut, Premiere Pro, and a lot of many more software editing. But what I found the most best software with effects, with transitions, with where you can do a lot of things, is Filmora 9. And don't buy the Pro, just go for the 9. You can also get it free, and it's a very good editing software that has a lot of possibilities. You cannot do effects as Premiere Pro, but you can actually do it on Filmora Pro. But there is another software that normally I'm actually starting to use now a little bit, is Hit Film Express. There you can actually do a more of effect kind of editing, but doing special effects is going to just don't focus on me, please. Doing effects is going to take a long time, and the same goes with Insta360 Studio. Is a very bad I believe editing, but it's the best thing to edit 360, and that's why I don't use a lot the 360 yet, because yeah, it's bigger files and it takes a lot of time to compress. But actually moving from 1080p up to 4K, because yeah, I kind of have the right things to do it now. It's very important to take your time on editing, because it's kind of give also a soul to the whole package on video. The best videos are actually 10 minutes long, not like this one that is a lot of time. Those are best distributed in YouTube as well, those 10-minute videos. But it's kind of your thing. What is your thing? What is your what are you going to film? So for my thing, I post a lot of long videos. It doesn't matter for me if someone perhaps to just watch 2 minutes actually. So it's my thing to make actually very big videos, but the best videos are actually 10 minutes long and easy to watch and very good made, very good sound, very good lighting, very good editing, without too many fancy titles and too many things that you normally don't see on television or movies. Those titles that comes behind, like I use sometimes, you don't see that much. So if you actually use them, you need to actually use them in a professional way that doesn't draw too much attention. So and try not to overdo it. Very important. Stabilizing your footage is very important. You can also do it on editing, but it's going to take a lot of time. So if you have an objective that stabilize your footage, this is not stabilizing, but the camera could also stabilize. The camera that I'm using now is not stabilized, but this one, this has a stabilizer in it, and that's also the reason I upgrade. And when you put it with a non-stabilizer, then it's going to be stabilized in a better way. And if you have a stabilizer lens like I'm using there, and so it's gonna help each other, but you can also stabilize your footage. If you have a very small camera like the GoPro 3 Plus that doesn't have a stabilizer, then you have to be very careful not to move it around too much. Also with the compact camera, which doesn't have a stabilizer, you need to be very careful, because it may ruin your movie, and you surely don't want to use the time editing stabilizing that footage. Music, the same thing, go with music. You need to be careful what you use. You need to have the rights to use music. Music can be very expensive. Your video can be deleted if you are using a video music that you don't have the right to use it on a video. And it can be stopped. That has happened to me as well, but you can normally get the chance to fix it anyway. If you have the right, you can also say that you have the right, and you need to show them your receive and everything. Epidemic Sound and Filmora, very good music size with sound effects as well, gives a lot to your boldness to your movie. Found extrememusic.com, that used to be my sponsor on the expedition. They have provided me very good music. If you can make your own music, you also need to be very careful how to record it, because it's a difficult thing to actually record it as well as video filming and photography. These three completely very different sides. So I think I said it all, mostly all. Okay guys, so there is a couple of things I forgot to mention. The good thing about being camera is that you must be really awake on how to capture those moments, especially on the wildlife. So a good thing is to prepare one of your camera, and if you have a big camera like mine, you should use something like this. You can also find it for your belt. That kind of help is a quick system that you can go with your camera here, and you can quickly detach it and take the shot. Another good thing is this kind of setup. This is from Peak Design. It is a system that helps you to have some steady shots, like I just did with the coffee example, and you can attach this quite quickly. So if you have something like this, if you do B-roll, you can actually use this to stabilize your footage, and if this is standing in the way, you can always quick deattaches. So this strap is from Peak Design. The other one I believe is bought from China. It's not very expensive. This is more expensive than the one you have on the pack, and quite durable as well. Very good shot. Also, there is a very good vlogging case. Here's the vlogging case, and you can put your light there and your mic as well. I really recommend the smaller mic from Røde instead of the big one. This is the way to go because it doesn't stand in the way as well. A GoPro with a small tripod is a good thing to have and vlog, but if you find something in the wilderness, that would be difficult to film that with a GoPro. There are places where GoPros is not wide enough to take a footage, and that's also when the camera from 360 captures the whole thing in front of you, but not on long distance. So it's a good thing to have a variety of those things actually. The last thing I want to mention also that I've nearly forgot is to mark your things with some metal that is weatherproof stamps, because if you kind of lost your things in the wild, that perhaps somebody that is good man or woman, perhaps they may call you back and say, hey, I found your drone here out here, or your GoPro. Then you have done your job, you know, and perhaps you could give me a cup of coffee or money in return for all that. So that's it, guys. I hope you like it. I'm putting all the things on the car because tomorrow I'm going to shoot another video. Bye.